The fucking developer was like, oh, guys, get this. Salted Earth 2. And they ate it up. Let's talk about Dark Knight and some of the things they forgot. The first thing, man, this bullshit right here. Unleash is a spell that needs to be changed to a weapon skill. Same thing for this thing here. See this? This needs to be a weapon skill. You know why? Because the recast is 250. This is garbage. This should be based off your skill speed. Now, since we're on the topic of unmend, what is this shit? This right here, enhanced unmend, reduces recast time of plunge by 5 seconds. So let me tell you guys something, all right? This is the second time they've tried to do this shit. For those of you that don't know, back in the day, Unleash used to cost mana. And every time you would use unmend, there was like a 30% chance or something that the next Unleash wouldn't cost any mana. That trait was useless then, as this trait is gonna be useless now. Here's the thing about this trait. You're never going to purposely use this. You're only going to use unmend in situations where you would use unmend anyway without this trait. No one is gonna say to themselves, oh man, I gotta use 2 unmends here to get a plunge off. I'm not a fan of this. Like, anytime you would use unmend with or without this trait, you would use it anyway, right? You're not gonna purposely use unmend next to the fucking boss. You know what I'm saying? And while we're here, let's talk about this trait, because this trait's fucking garbage too. This just seems so fucking lazy. I guess this one too, but you know, whatever. Both of them are so lazy. Why does it need to be a trait that the potency is increased to 300? Like, who gives a shit? That seems like a system thing, right? This doesn't need to be a trait. Just at level 88, just have it happen automatically. It doesn't matter for older ultimates. Who gives a shit about older ultimates? If they cared about balance in older ultimates, then why the fuck does Gunbreaker deal as much damage as a DPS? This just isn't expansion worthy stuff in my opinion. Let me ask you guys a question. Let's say, for instance, that they completely deleted these 2 traits and they just added them without telling people. They just added them. Do you think anybody would give a flying fuck? Because I don't. I don't think anybody would care if they just deleted these and just added them in like a separate system. And here's another thing that I find kind of dumb is this enhanced living shadow here. It says upgrades flood of shadow executed by your simulacrum to Shadowbringer. Shouldn't that just be assumed? Was there anybody that thought, hey, the shadow that I summon is not going to do the level 90 abilities. It's going to be like a level 80 Party Finder Dark Knight? Because I'm pretty sure everybody assumed that the shadow was gonna do all of the abilities, right? Like, as a matter of fact, I wish that you could turn the shadow off. The shadow is such a fucking waste of space. All it does is draw your attention, get in the fucking way, and I wish you could turn it off. Like, how many times have you been like in like combat and you've seen that fucking shadow and you thought it was a person and you like hesitate for a second, like, wait a minute, what the fuck are they doing there? Oh, it's the fucking shadow. Like, because I've done that quite a bit. You know what? I wish this trait would say you can now turn your living shadow off. Holy shit, that would be so much better. Now that's a good trait. I'd be hyped for that trait. All of this shit right here is so underwhelming, man. Is so underwhelming. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? Man, Dark Knight got fucked on their traits. I got fucked hard too. It's like they got sentenced to fucking death row, pulled in cell block D, had the sheet thrown up, just absolutely destroyed. So yeah, let's talk about this. I've been talking about this for like years. This right here, blood weapon. Increases blood gauge by 10 and restores MP upon landing weapon skills or spells. The fact that it says or spells shouldn't even be a thing because nothing the Dark Knight does should be a fucking spell. It's either that or make the spell scale off your skill speed. Effects does not stack when hitting multiple targets with a single attack. Okay, this is the one ability that needed the stack treatment. Delirium right here. Gains 3 stacks of Delirium, each stack allowing the execution of Quietus or Blood Spiller. Storing MP, last 30 seconds. So you get 3 stacks. That is what needs to happen with this shit here. Okay, why is this on a duration? This just was not play tested, man. It just was not fucking play tested. They just didn't give a shit. This is just scuffed. This needs to be changed. Okay. Wow, we got fucking 2 awful abilities next to each other. It's time for the people that are okay with this ability to get off of the copium. All right, it's time. This ability is not very good. Damage-specific types of mitigation are really bad, in my opinion. Reduces magic vulnerability. This should just be reduces damage by like, I don't know, 15% or something. Make it all damage and make it like 15%. This will be so much better if it's all damage and 15%. This will be so fucking good. Just magic is stupid. Okay, now we're talking about this fucking piece of shit. This is still remain unchanged. This ability just needs to be changed. Last night I was watching Violent stream and he was complaining about Living Dead. I think we all complain about Living Dead. Living Dead is just bad. You cannot be healed. You can be healed too soon. It's just bad. It also doesn't even provide you with any more time. Like the duration's 10 seconds. Well, Home Gang and Bolide got buffed to 10 seconds and Hollowed's been 10 seconds. So like the fact that this is 10 seconds, but wait, oh, Strummer, no, it's not. It's actually 20 because 10 and 10, if you take 10 plus 10, it equals 20 seconds, hyper poggers! Living Dead is actually 20 seconds. People have said that to me before. Here's some suggested changes. Change 1. The first change should be brace yourself for an enemy onslaught, preventing most attacks from reducing your HP to less than 1. Last 10 seconds. That's the first change I would make. Just make it Home Gang. That's the first and easiest possible change. That's also the least creative, but hey, you know what? It's whatever. Here's like a more creative. Once you enter Walking Dead, you give the Dark Knight 20% incoming healing received. So that means that any type of healing that they receive, it's buffed by 20%. You give them Life Leech. Walking Dead, 10 seconds. This means that regardless if you heal to 100% or not, you will remain in Walking Dead for 10 seconds. So let's say that you heal Walking Dead. You still get the rest of it. What do you mean that's too OP? It's still worse than Home Gang. You still have to heal it. Here's the thing. Even if you made these changes, this is still arguably worse than Bolide. So you pop this, you die, you're in the grave. When you're in the grave, you get plus 20% incoming healing. All of your abilities heal you for full damage. And then Walking Dead lasts 10 seconds regardless if you die or not. You know, whenever you complete a mechanic, you get that little check mark above your head? You know what? They should do that for Living Dead. Whenever you cleanse your Living Dead, it should give you a nice little check mark. So then you know you're safe. So those are the changes to Living Dead. All right, the Blackest Night. I think that this ability is overhyped as shit, but that does not mean that I do not like it and that I do not think that it's strong. This ability is strong. It does prevent a very high amount of damage, but there's a problem. This right here, MP cost. This should not have an MP cost anymore. For those of you that like fucking jack off to this ability, the one really good thing about this is the power that it has. Like, it's a very strong single CD, right? However, it does come at a cost. Look at this broken ass shit. Bloodwetting. Reduces damage taken by 20% for 4 seconds. Also gives them a shield. So prevents 20% damage, plus gives them a shield, plus gives them, you heal yourself 4 times. So it has like 1600 heal potency. And this doesn't cost anything. This ability is absolutely free. So it has damage mitigation. It has a shield, and it also heals you. So this could be used for a tank buster. This could be used for self-sustain. This could also be used to cheese mechanics because it has a built-in shield on it. Now, let's look at the Paladin version. Holy Sheltron blocks incoming attacks, which we're just gonna assume is 20%. So this is 35% for 4 seconds, and then it gives you a hot. This is crazy good. This again is virtually free. Virtually. It doesn't cost any of your damage. Now let's look at Gunbreaker. Heart of Corundum. 30% also gives them Brutal Shell and gives you a fucking XCOG. And for those of you that don't know how much the XCOG heals you for, it heals you for like 20% of your HP. So you get an XCOG for 20%. Plus you get damage reduced by 30%. My point being here is that you understand how powerful this cooldown is, right? We all can agree that this is pretty powerful. We all agree that this is pretty powerful, right? We all agree that this is pretty powerful. For the fucking idiots that were like, well, TBN you can use on another person. Okay, yeah, you can also use this on another person too. It's called Nascent Flash. It's the same fucking shit. It's literally the same shit, except for this you use on a person, Bloodwetting you use on yourself. Okay, and Intervention's the same fucking goddamn way. Yeah, look, it gives you the same thing, and you can buff it. So you can have up to 30%. This gives you a hot, plus gives you damage reduced by 20%. It's possible that this could even be even stronger than Sheltron. My point here is that Holy Sheltron, Bloodwetting, and Heart of Corundum are absolutely free. But on Dark Knight, this shit is not free. This costs you mana. This is part of your DPS. My suggested change for this: you up the cooldown to 25 seconds. You take away the mana cost and you make the shield, I don't know, 15%. For the first 4 seconds, make it give, I don't know, 10% damage reduction. Doesn't this sound way better? Here are 2 major downsides to TBN. 1, its mana cost. And 2, able to use this ability, you have to get 100% value. You have to, or else it's a waste. With every other ability that compares to Blackest Night, you don't have to get 100% value. You can get 50% value, you can get 75% value, you can get 30% value, or you could get 100% value. It doesn't matter. Those are my 2 biggest issues. The fact that this is a 25% shield, it doesn't matter anymore. Going into Endwalker, someone's crutch, like the people that are on copium, that this skill is busted when it's not. The people that are on copium don't even have that to crutch on anymore. This needs to be changed. Couldn't they just baked Oblation and TBN, or am I mistaken? No. The reason why is because you want this to pop. If you have Oblation on top of this, it makes it harder to pop. TBN is a stupid cooldown because it's a defensive cooldown that's tied to your damage, and you must gain 100% value out of it every time. This is what they need to change. Oblation. I actually don't mind this ability. Do I think it's good? No. Do I think it's bad? No. The thing I like about this ability the most is the way it's designed. I like having a charge time at the same time as having 2 charges. I think this is kind of cool. They might do this in the future. Will this ever be good? Like, you know, will this ever be clutch? Probably not. Sure, in a very, very unique case, maybe one time. Will this ever be bad? No, this will never be bad. This has a lot of usages, so I like that about this ability. The 10%, it's an absolute free 10%, so it's really good. I don't think this ability is going to shine, but I don't think this ability is bad at all. And I like the design of it. I think that you can use this to potentially save a party member. You can use this for a tank buster. I think that this will never be bad. I don't think Dark Knight's going to suck. I think Dark Knight's going to be fine. I think you're going to be able to prog on it fine. Dark Knight is still really good, but the problem with all of this is that it's very underwhelming. Let me ask you guys this question. What was the most hype thing about Dark Knight to you? No one has mentioned mine. Some of you said Salt and Darkness. I think the people that said Salted Darkness are on crack. Some of you said the big sword. I dig. But nobody said this. Nobody said this. 60-second Delirium is the most hype thing about Dark Knight, and it's a quality of life. You know why people forgot about this? Because now that I mentioned it, some of you are probably like, oh, you know what? Yeah, when I remember hearing about it, I was ridiculously hyped. This is a quality of life. This is not an expansion-worthy change, and that's a problem. This should have already been in the game. They could have made this change mid-expansion. That's the problem. This is the most exciting thing about Dark Knight. A quality of life. Let's talk about the new abilities first real quick. Salt and Dark. Oh my lord, why is this so thick? Holy shit. Let's talk about Shadowbringer, Assault and Darkness. This ability right here, I think, is just absolute fluff, just garbage, just fluff. It's just the fact that they added on to Salted Earth is ridiculous to me. I feel like Salted Earth should have just been removed from the game, or it should have been merged with Abyssal Drain. Those 2 GCDs are fluff. Let's look at Abyssal Drain real quick. Okay, Abyssal Drain, you use it once every minute. 150 potency ability. Now this might change. Once every minute, you get to use this very extremely underwhelming, shitty ability. If you never use this ability, you can still get 99s. The total DPS that this ability has is fucking minuscule on your overall damage. This is like an extra fucking auto attack every minute. This move, in my opinion, should have been combined with Salted Earth. Combine these 2. Make these into one ability. Why couldn't you just combine these 2 and have the effect of this? What if you fired in Abyssal Drain, it put down a puddle, and then when the puddle expired, or I don't know, maybe you could just detonate itself. Doesn't that seem so much better? Doesn't that save on an extra button? Isn't that just all around better? You fire out Abyssal Drain, it puts the puddle, and then you can detonate the puddle, and then it turns back into Abyssal Drain. Doesn't that sound so much better than this fucking garbage right here? I think it does. Now, this is what they should have done, but instead, the fucking developer was like, oh, guys, get this. Salted Earth 2. And they ate it up. Now, this move right here, Shadowbringer, this move looks cool, and I'm sure it's going to feel cool when you use it. It's going to feel good when you use it. However, they've already had this ability in the game before. It was just called something different, and it looks slightly different. It's almost like they have no fucking clue what they want to do with Dark Knight, so they're just bringing shit back. They're bringing back the Unmin trait, and they're bringing back Dark Passenger. There was an ability called Dark Passenger that basically functioned almost identical to this, except for it didn't have 2 charges. Although I will say the Dark Passenger was more high skill, high reward, and it was more punishing, and the upside was higher. So it felt better when you use it. This ability right here is just going to be another off GCD that you hit. This move's function is no different than Flood of Shadow, other than you have a choice here, and here you just have a single off GCD with 2 charges. This move isn't bad. It's just another fluff. And it wouldn't be just another fluff if you wouldn't have this shit as well. Abyssal Drain and Salted Earth. So now you have Abyssal Drain, which is fluff, Salted Earth, which is fluff, and now you have Shadowbringer, which is even more fluff, on top of having to min-max your Salted Earth a little bit. It's not that I'm not excited about the ability, man. It's just like, enough is enough. Jesus Christ. So many off GCDs, man. I'm sure people love having more off GCDs, but to me personally, there comes a point in time where there's just too much fluff. There's just too much. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. There is gonna be no difference between hitting Edge of Shadow and Shadowbringer as far as the feeling goes. This off GCD is just more useless than this. And the reason why is because this has a purpose. This takes your mana. You have to manage your mana. There's a gauge here. You don't manage shit. You just bash this on cooldown, or you save it for a trick attack window. That's literally it. I feel like that they could have been a little more creative or something. I don't know, man. It's just underwhelming. I just feel like having an off GCD for purely having another off GCD, I think is very lazy. Here's the fucked up part about all this. I'm actually looking forward to Dark Knight. Yeah, I am. After all that shit I'm saying, I'm actually looking forward to Dark Knight. I'm looking more forward to Dark Knight than I am Gunbreaker. I think Gunbreaker looks like shit. I think it looks clunky. I think it looks awkward. I am not excited to play it. I'm probably going to level it last. But Dark Knight, it didn't get anything great per se. But I really like this class actually. And the reason why I shit on this class is because I want it to be better, because I know it can be. I am looking forward to Dark Knight because it didn't change that much. I think it's still going to be really good. I just think it's extremely underwhelming. Like basically Dark Knight is still in Shadowbringers. I think that the excitement for Dark Knight, if you are really looking forward to Dark Knight, which I was, I think that we, the players that are looking forward to seeing the new Dark Knight stuff, were a little disappointed, because I feel like the person in charge of Dark Knight design, I'm going to be honest, I feel like that they don't have any idea what they're doing. I feel like that every single thing that they think is good about Dark Knight, they completely missed the mark. I think that they got extremely lazy, and I think that the changes they made to Dark Knight are very underwhelming. With all that being said, does Dark Knight work now? Absolutely. Dark Knight's fine now. It's viable and it functions. It does have some downsides. I think Dark Knight has more downsides than the other tanks, in the form of Living Dead and Dark Mind mostly. And I don't like TBN being tied to your mana. You know, it works. It can be really good. The thing is it's going to remain the same, right? You know, maybe Dark Knight's going to pump out some serious fucking big dick damage. That'd be cool. The fact that this Dark Arts is still in the game is ridiculous. Most people don't even know what this is. They just want to keep Dark Arts in the game. Most people don't even know what Dark Side is because they don't have to know. Do you know why you don't have to actually know what Dark Arts is? Because all you have to know is that when your TBN shield breaks, you get a free Edge of Shadow. That's it. This is the most desperate attempt to keep an ability in the game. For those of you that don't know, Dark Arts used to be an ability. It used to be a self-buff. You would use Dark Arts and it would buff certain abilities. So it would buff your Siphon Strike. Imagine if they had a combo potency and then right here, it said Dark Arts, a Dark Arts potency, and then it said, I don't know, 350. So that means that when you use Dark Arts and then you use Siphon Strike, your Siphon Strike is buffed to this potency. That's what Dark Arts used to be. They just really wanted to keep it in the game. So that's why that it's like this now. There's no purpose for this. You could easily just say you get a free Edge of Shadow. Like you don't need to coin this term as a Dark Arts proc. It's not necessary. Like I said earlier, whoever is designing Dark Knight and in charge of this shit just has no fucking clue. Dark Arts was fucking horrible Just let it die. Let Dark Arts use Living Dead and just don't heal it. In the grave. So yeah, I think it definitely has some issues. Hopefully they get more quality of life. Hopefully, you know, Blood Weapon changes, Dark Mind changes, Living Dead changes, TBN changes. Hopefully Unleash and Unmend and whatever the other one is, Star Wars Soul. Hopefully that shit gets off being spells. Hopefully you get Dark Missionary earlier at level 70. I don't know why you get it at 76 when all the other tanks have their shit at 70. I don't know why Dark Knight can't AoE at 70. Dude, Dark Knight's scuffed, man. What the whoever the fuck is in charge of Dark Knight, fire them, hire me. There you go. Easy game. I'll do it for free. You don't have to pay me. Just listen to me. Just listen to me. Every single change I have suggested will make this job a banger of a job. All right, I promise. I guarantee it. Give you the Zemo stamp of approval. I bet my beard on it.